Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, Abla, yo luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fay.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bësal mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.
On Tuesday, the 16th of September 2025, it's 12 minutes past 10 o'clock. We'll continue now on the theme of migration, because we have with us migration rights activist Yaya Sonko, a Gambian activist based in Germany whose advocacy spans deportation policy, asylum reform, and the human cost of irregular migration. As thousands of Gambians continue to risk their lives on the backway to Europe, Sonko has called for a national dialogue, urging leaders to confront the root causes of migration, from unemployment and political exclusion to the failure of state institutions to protect vulnerable youth. And if you have a comment or question for Yaya, we're using two numbers from now on. Comium have given us a special number, 864-64-64, and of course our usual AfriCell line, 7711599. Yaya, welcome to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez.
Thank you very much, Uncle Peter Gomez and your entire team. I am very happy to be here today for the first time, and for sure I am ready and very comfortable to share my little knowledge, experience when it comes to irregular migration, the current dilemma that the Gambia is facing when it comes to migration. Thank you.
Take us back to where it began, personal experience that shaped, your decision to become a migration activist.
Maybe some of the people who knows who I am, since in Gambia, I was a teacher here in the Gambia. I was teaching for almost 4 good years in this country, in different regions. Then, of course, this was 2014. Of course, the same frustration. Sometimes it's very hard for me to blame the youths who are still going. Remember, I was a qualified teacher in this country. I throw my chalk, my lesson schemes and everything, and said, no, I cannot make it here in my country, based on so many reasons: family pressure, society, and of course, at that time, the mindset that is almost impossible in those days, like with your salary and stuff like that, to make it here. So
in those days, what year was this?
This is in 2014.
Okay.
So basically,
when Yaya Jammeh was still around.
When Yaya Jammeh was still around, as a young teacher at the time, teaching in the bush, you think that is almost impossible. One of my old headmaster, always when we are having teachers meeting, he always said this: I have been teaching for 30 years. I cannot even buy a bicycle for myself.
Oh, wow.
Talk less of a motorbike. So it's like there was no motivation. It's a little bit different now.
And when you left here, what was your destination?
Yeah, basically, like many of these youths did, I just said that I want to travel to Europe. I also took Backway, and that brings me to your question. What motivates me to do all these things? So I went through this irregular migration. I don't call it illegal migration. I went through this irregular migration.
What's the difference between the two terminologies?
The word illegal, internationally, international bodies responsible for migrations are trying to advocate for people to stop. Nobody is illegal. You cannot call it illegal migration. You have to call it irregular migration. They are moving through irregular means, so they are not illegal. They can, Okay. So basically that's, I traveled through this hard journey. I went through the hardship.
Well, retrace the route for us.
Exactly. So, Peter, Uncle Peter, when you go through this irregular migration, you realize that peace, stability, stop in, let me say, in Senegal. So because we take these buses, and these connections. Mm-hmm. So peace stop in Senegal. When you enter from Mali, Bamako to Burkina Faso, then the smugglers, even state authorities in some of these countries, like police, militaries, will be stopping your cars, your buses, abusing you in order to pay a certain amount of money in order for you to continue your journey, basically. So that alone is traumatizing.
So after Senegal, your next destination was Mali. You were made to pay money.
Yeah, exactly. You start paying a lot of money from Mali onwards. Burkina Faso, sometimes you will be the kidnaps start from Burkina Faso. Then you go to Niger, you think that you are in another world, not in Africa. Then you find your way in Niger. That's where, in fact, most of the hardships start, because that's where you you go through the Sahara Desert. The dangerous Sahara Desert. It starts from, the journey always starts from a city in Niger called Akades. That's where these pickups, they call it convoy. That's, in our local terms of using it. Mm-hmm. That's where these convoys are. You pay money there, 25 to 30,000, dollars.
Yes. Not CFA?
No, 25 to 30. Yes, we probably will get to that. There are so many connections in irregular migrations. I always said that the government still are not doing enough. Some of these, when we going through this journey, some of these traffickers, they all have their connections in this country. You will be paying those dollars to people here in the Gambia, not to them in Niger, no. So you pay that amount of money in Niger to cross only the desert. That is from Niger, probably to Sabah, a city in Libya, or to other cities in Libya, Tripoli, something like this. And sometimes you lost money, you have to pay 2 or 3 times. But basically, the worst part of it, to me personally, and to many, that because now I have my own office in Stuttgart, we will get to that. I guide and counsel.
But what I don't understand is, while you were teaching here, it was difficult maybe to get even $5,000 from somebody. Suddenly you find yourself in this Agadez or Akades, whatever it is called, in Niger, and you can just, with the phone call, get somebody to pay $30,000 on your behalf?
Exactly. So some of us, or many, like the Imam said, the respectable Imam said, sometimes it is a family support, friend support, society. When we are starting the journey, we never, ask our parents to support us. We never even inform them. When I was going, my mom, my late mom was not aware that I was leaving.
Who did you tell in your family? You must have told somebody.
Yes, only my wife. Yeah, only my wife. I told her, I just came, night time. I was from GTU, CCU, I took some money and stuff like that. I told her that, look, tomorrow I am going. She said, where are you going? I said, I am going to Europe. I did not even use the word Backway. I said, I'm going to Europe.
If you had used Backway, would she have let you go?
Probably, she was sad. She was frustrated. She was she was even crying.
No, you're going to Europe, of course.
Yeah, but she knows what I mean, because she knew.
She knew you meant the Backway?
Yeah, she knew. I indirectly, yes, because, she will not see if I tried visa few times here. Okay. UK embassy in Gambia rejected me 3 times. US embassy once. So basically, she knew that I have been refused several times. So had it been, it is a visa process and procedure. She will know.
Okay. So you're now an activist. What was the turning point that made you speak out, not just for yourself, but now for thousands of Gambians?
Uncle Peter, when I arrived in Italy, this is early in 2015. When I arrived in Italy, upon our arrival, the very day I arrived in Italy.
Where? In Lampedusa?
In Sicily.
Sicily, okay.
Sicily, Zaragoza. We were rescued by German rescue team. Okay, this very day, this German rescue team, they rescued 6 boats, mostly, or if not all, most of them, majority of them are Gambian. 6, one night.
Oh, wow.
So we were more than 600 in a big ship, German rescue big ship, more than 600, Uncle Peter. So when we arrived at the port, Zaragoza, then they start communicating to us. That's where I said, that's where my inspiration came. Most of them, at the time, I would say in terms of language, I was better, and in terms of my, at least the little experience, knowledge I have here as a teacher, I was better in terms of communication.
In English?
In English.
Okay.
So they start communicating to us, but my communication skill at the time was better. Then the focus was on me. Even this Italian came, they would kind of call me in a huge crowd for me to, they would
be the interpreter.
Exactly.
Okay.
Kind
so
of.
through you, they could, communicate with the rest of the.
Exactly.
And how many were you? How big was your group?
When we arrived, as a former teacher, we always deal with records. When we arrived in Zaragoza, I start asking many questions because I already met thousands of Gambians already there. Those who arrived earlier before us, So I start asking. At the time when I was in this camp, Zaragoza camp, it's called Ombretto Primo Emergency Camp in Zaragoza, that is in Sicily. There were according to them, there were more than 3,900 West Africans there, newly. Okay, like every week they transfer people to other cities, other camps and stuff like that. And out of that 2,000 plus, 1,800 were Gambians at the time.
Oh, wow. More than 50%.
Yes. Absolutely. More than, so it's not only that, that's just a camp, in one part of Sicily. Okay, then later, after 1 week, we were moved to Milano. I was lucky to be transferred to Milano. Again, Milano, when we arrived, this camp, it was a new kind of they took us to an area in Milano called Sicily. Cesate. Okay, so Cesate, again, the mayor of this city, she's a female, came to visit us, and inform us that she took certain risks to allow or to accept us in her city. I remember fully, I put my hands up and asked, what are those risks that you took as a mayor to accept us in your city? She said it is kind of 50-50 decision. Most of the citizens in her community are not in agreement or are not ready to welcome us. But of course, again, half of the citizens are saying yes. So she took that decision with her council to accept us. So now it's left to us to show to these people we are not bad, we are good people. So this idea came to me. How can we organize ourselves in that part of Milano? I start so many initiations. I initiated with other colleagues that, look, we can do better. Let's do this. I bring initiations like, let's form a social garden system. Where we are living at the time, it was just behind a stadium, a mini stadium in that area. They have a big garden, kind of. We told them that if you gave us a space, we can be working here, farming, gardening, and stuff like that. We started our, and they announced that in their newspapers. Experts, Italian expert, retired expert, garden experts, accepted this idea, came with us. We developed a system. We create a social garden in that area, and that kind of create a bigger way for all of us in that area in Milano. So and so many initiatives that I tried to build with my colleagues during my stay in Milano.
And when you had produce and sold it, how did you use the money?
No, we don't. Exactly. This is where, we changed the narrative there. We told them that the garden was not for us to create or generate money. The garden was a social garden. Because we are doing this with experts. Okay, so they gave us the support of bringing the carrot seeds and stuff like that. We gave them the labor. watering, digging and stuff like that. Okay, so but the experts are almost every day they have to guide and counsel us how to go about it.
So who owns the carrots? And
So
when they were ripe,
when they got
what
ripe,
happened to them?
It's social. So the citizens in that area of Milano will come, harvest freely, take it to home, eat our carrots, our tomatoes, our potatoes, and stuff like that.
And not pay a butut.
So there was a kind of a box that you come, you rub this transparency. You come, take what you want or what you need, and then give whatsoever you want to give. Okay. Basically. So this is how it was going. So basically we are
I know that
service.
they have these schemes all over the place.
Exactly.
Sometimes you could go to a slot machine,
Exactly.
there's water.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, just
you drop your coin there.
You know the value of the water bottle is $10.
Exactly.
But you have only $2. You put it in there, it will dispense to you.
Exactly.
Because somebody will come.
Yeah.
It's $10, but they will put in $50.
50, exactly. And it was working because the Italian in that area in part of Milano, they take ownership of it. They see what we are doing. They were happy, and that pay, dividend.
And how did it change perception of this, migrant community that the 50% were not in support of?
They start involving us in so many ways. Uncle Peter, this is in YouTube. Many people can go there and search. In 2016, there was a big opera event in Milano. Okay, and they specifically choose our camp because they want to. The idea about this event was they want to inculcate or bring us part of it to let the Italian society in Milano know that they should be open to the black community who are in Milano. So we were part of that play, and not only that, there were marathons, annual marathons. Italians like these festivals and stuff like that. In their almost all their festivals at the time, they involve us. We have people who will go athletics. We ask our people who can run. They will join them. Bicycling and stuff like that. Different sports.
So you are now integrated into Italian community.
Yes.
Okay, we've seen a resurgence in irregular migration in the Gambia. What do you think is driving the continued outflow of Gambian youths, despite knowing the dangers of going on the back way?
Well, the irregular migration, there are root causes. This is international researches worldwide, internationally. Experts agreed that irregular migration, more especially in West Africa, Gambia, to be specific, most of the root cause of all this movement is lack of jobs. Of course, I was listening to minister. He said, job is not the problem in this country.
In your case, job was not the problem. You were in a job.
Sustainability is one. Okay. Look, at the time, job was a problem. Not only me. Don't look at only me. There are hundreds of our Gambian brothers and sisters who, at the time, will finish school. They cannot proceed to college, okay, or go to university, and at the time, some of them, and up to today, this continue to happen up to today. Now, just last week, I was chatting with some of my friends, teachers' friends. Now with their university degrees. They told me in this country now, after college, it was not like our time. My time, when you finish college, your job security is guaranteed 100%. But currently, after college, you still struggle to even be a teacher in this country. They said it's happening, basically. So not only that, Peter, Uncle Peter, currently or before, in those days, hundreds of our brothers will, let's say, finish this madarasa school. There was no job market for them in this country. Not only that, there were no skill centers, like people who did not have good results in their grade 12. You go to village. Some of us from the villages, when we graduate, the only hope is to go back to our village, help our fathers in farm, our mothers in the gardens, basically. So the former government and the current government, they should just, accept the fact that this country lacks job security. They should just accept the fact that the governments fail to create enabling environment to those who are even working to excel in a better standard or to have sustainable salary or financial things that might help them. That's where the government is failed. And look, I don't want to make it Dr. Ismaila Cisse issue, but then he said something here. He said, job is not a problem. I will tell you this. From his own mouth, Dr. Ismaila Cisse was in Germany prior to 2021 election. He met Gambian community in Germany. He said, one of his strong statements at the time, in that meeting, he said...
As a politician
at the time.
of the Citizens Alliance opposition group at the time.
He was saying clearly that lack of job in the Gambia is one of the main cause or factor why our youth, and he was not saying this to only we the Gambians. There were German communities, and at some point experts, migration experts sitting listening to him. So if today he is saying, this is just 4 or 5 years ago, he was saying this, and today he sat here and said that job is not a problem. I said to myself, I questioned myself, what was he telling us before then? Well, so job is one of the factors. Job creation, unemployment is one of the.
I think the point he was making was the fact that, it is not that you don't have jobs. It's just that you don't have people with the skills to match those jobs.
I wish he could explain.
That's what he said on the program.
Yeah. I was listening. Yeah. I wish, what I'm saying is, I wish he could have explained it to us. Those days in Germany, there is a mismatch of...
in fact, he used mismatch, exactly.
I was listening.
Yeah. Now he's in government. He can now, acknowledge what government is doing. And then he went on to speak about the Tibet institutions that are being, built all over the place. A majority of them actually, outside the greater Banjul area. So if you're talking about the rural areas being neglected in the past, well... This government seems to be doing everything possible to, build the capacity of young people where they live.
Every government do their best, but they should, when it comes to responsibility, they should also accept the responsibility that at some point they are failing. Okay, the basic. Look, we as youths, we lack the basic human rights in this country. That is employment. Job security in this country is a problem.
So how can you solve that? If you were in government, for instance, how would you tackle this? I suppose this would be top of your priority list.
Absolutely.
So how would you tackle it?
I'm not going to say if I am in the government, but what I would say is the government can do better. Okay, yes, after dictatorship, European Union and other partners, international partners, open their gate and open their doors for this country, for the government. Since coalition 2016 time to date. Okay, basically example, this bilateral cooperation that probably we might talk about. There are so many, this should have happened years ago. Okay, European experts, researchers have been coming to this country, make several researches, international researchers, and then, they publish those researches. When you go through those researches, you understand where our problem lies as a country. So what I would say with regards to that is Gambia can create a lot of jobs. Okay, when you check in the European Union, from 2017 to date, supported the Gambia government. Not only this year, from 2017 to date, European Union supported the Gambia government more than 40 million euros on youth empowerment projects in different areas. Okay, I heard him saying about YEP. You are in this country, a veteran journalist. In 2018, I think 2019 to around 2020, when everywhere you go in this country, you saw billboards. Yep, youth empower, techie fee and stuff like that. After 4 or 5 years, there are objectives about these projects and programs that EU sponsored, okay, or other international partners sponsored. The main objective is to reduce irregular migration, to at least give those hopes to Gambians that, look, we support this, we put this here, still you can stay. Okay? But what is happening currently is a different story. Why the reason is that, Uncle Peter.
Did YEP achieve its objective or not?
I said no. I call them elephant billboard projects. Most of these projects, I call them elephant billboard projects because if you read their project proposals or if you read their programs, Peter, sadly, most of these projects, millions that EU or other partners spend or give to this country is when you go through those projects, what you realize is those monies, those projects are purposely for institutions and people in those institutions. Like example, I always put it this way. If we said that 1 million euro is just, this is just an example, 1 million euro is here for youth empowerment project. This 1 million euro, when you read their project proposals or when you read their programs, what you understand is there will be, you know, more, let's say 600 to 700 euros of that money. We're talking about 1 million euros, okay? So 600 to 800 euros would be spent on workshops, seminars, consultations, you know, traveling, you know, all these things. So chunk of the money, chunk of the project, you know, never goes to the benefitors, to the youths. Chunk of the money is spent on offices, you know, stakeholders, people in institutions, basically. So here what I'm trying to say is, you know, those millions, I think it's here.
Okay.
Those millions had those projects. What the Gambia government or what people responsible for those projects, what they should have done is, you know, they should change them. The way people write government or institutions draw their projects, you know, their programs in this country is more or less the offices, the people in those offices. The youths benefit a little bit. Those techies, you are a veteran. Today is very hard to see the footprint of techie programs. It's very hard today in Gambia to see where, you know, where are the benefitors? You know, very few benefited from them. So basically, it is more or less sponsoring or giving to the institutions rather than the youths who should benefit from those money.